Have you ever stopped to think that, at this very moment, a stranger could be praying for you? That sounds strange, right? How could someone you've never met be so involved in your life that they are praying for your well-being, your peace, or even your success? But what would happen if you knew that, while you try to handle the challenges of your life on your own, there's an invisible force working to help you? Something beyond what you can see, but somehow, it's already on its way. What would you do if you knew there is someone, or something, that is rooting for you, even without you realizing it? Maybe you're going through a tough time, trying to overcome an internal struggle that no one else knows about, or maybe you're wondering why, no matter how hard you try, you can't achieve what you desire. Have you ever felt this way? As if the universe is against you, or like no matter how much you try, the weight of life always seems heavier than what you can carry. What you haven't yet realized is that a force is working for you, waiting for the right moment to reach you. And maybe, just maybe, that moment is now. In this video, you're going to discover what it means to know that a stranger is praying for you, and how this can change your perspective on everything you're going through. Because perhaps, just perhaps, what you've been doing so far isn't enough to lift the weight off your shoulders. But this invisible force, believe me, might be exactly what you need to finally release what's holding you back. Now, think with me, how many times have you felt like you were going against the tide? As if life was always trying to pull you back, and no matter how hard you try, the obstacles only seem to increase. Maybe you've tried to change something, whether it's your job, your relationships, or even your outlook on the future, and yet, you still find yourself stuck. You might feel, perhaps, lost or even frustrated, not knowing what the next step should be. And what's worse, no matter how much you try to ignore it, doubts and insecurities begin to invade your mind. Have you ever wondered if these difficulties have something in common? And what if these barriers, these issues, aren't just being caused by external factors, but by something much deeper, something within you? It's hard to notice, but there's something invisible, a kind of energy, a force, or a current of thought, that might be interfering with your progress. It could be a fear you can't let go of, a regret you can't move past, or even a recurring negative thought that, without you realizing it, is guiding your decisions, your actions, and, in some way, your destiny. Now, let's explore this a little further. You know that moment when you feel stuck in a cycle, not knowing how to break free? As if you're taking one step forward and, at the same time, falling 2 steps back. There's something happening in that cycle that goes beyond mere circumstances. Perhaps the real reason behind this tangled web of difficulties is some sort of energetic block, something that is preventing your freedom to act, to move forward. And the worst part, you don't always know that this block is there. What you may not have realized is that, while you're struggling alone to overcome these obstacles, there is a greater force trying to intervene. It may seem absurd or even irrelevant to you at this moment, but this intervention, an energy that is, in some way, connected to you, needs to be recognized. Only then can you break the cycle, release what binds you, and finally start moving forward. However, for this to happen, you need to realize that something is occurring beyond what your eyes can see. And this requires you, on some level, to open your mind to the invisible. Now, imagine for a moment, while you try to balance yourself in this whirlwind of challenges and frustrations, something is silently working around you. An invisible, but powerful force, with a clear intention, to help you overcome the obstacles that seem insurmountable. Maybe you've never stopped to think about it, but you must have felt the presence of this energy in your life, perhaps in unexpected moments. It might have been when, for no apparent reason, something worked out, or when you found relief in the most complicated situations, even when everything seemed lost. These small sparks of hope, these brief feelings of relief, could be the intervention of this greater force trying to manifest itself. This presence doesn't require you to fully understand it, but it needs you to acknowledge it. It's not something that will shout or impose itself dramatically, it simply is there, waiting for you to allow yourself to hear, feel, and respond. This is the great secret. Often, we are so focused on our own problems and on what's outside of our control, that we don't realize we have a force beside us, willing to support us. It's not something that will fix everything without our participation, but something that will guide us, whenever we make the decision to follow that guidance. What you may not know is that this force has already been working in your life for a long time, in subtle ways, and all it needs is your consent. For example, have you ever had a sudden feeling that you should take a different path, or perhaps felt guided to make a choice that seemed illogical, but in the end, resulted in something positive? That wasn't a coincidence. This greater force may have been responsible for leading you to that point of clarity, even without you realizing it. And now, it's waiting for the right moment to help you go further. Perhaps, what is happening at this very moment is an opportunity for you to open up to this intervention. An opportunity to stop fighting alone against what challenges you and begin allowing something greater to guide you. But how will you know when it's time to accept this help? The answer lies in how you feel right now, at this very instant. If you're feeling a slight sense of relief or a small surge of courage, this could be the sign that you're ready to recognize this presence in your life and allow it to manifest. All you need to do is be willing to listen, trust, and allow yourself to be guided by something greater that is there, waiting to take you to the next level. Now, imagine the following: as much as you're beginning to feel this presence, as much as you want to open up to it, something is still blocking your way. Even with the help of this invisible force by your side, you feel as if there is an invisible wall between you and what you truly desire. A feeling of frustration starts to form, as if you are reaching but never really touching what lies ahead. You feel there is something more, but at the same time, you don't know how to cross this obstacle. This invisible wall isn't made of concrete or bricks. It's not something physical, but emotional and mental. It's formed by your own doubts, fears, and the memories of the past that still haunt your mind. It could be the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, or even insecurity about whether you're capable of achieving what you want. Each of these fears becomes a brick in the wall that separates you from the transformation within your reach. The problem is, no matter how much you try, these fears always seem to come back. When you're about to take a step toward the new, something inside you hesitates. Something seems to pull you back. And this is where the big question comes in. You feel the presence of the greater force, you recognize that you are being guided, but at the same time, you feel like you need to do something. And the big question is, what will you do now? Will you continue to let yourself be consumed by your own fears, or will you finally take a step toward what you desire? The truth is that, despite all the help around you, the intervention of this force requires your cooperation. It needs you to choose to let go of doubt and allow courage to replace fear. And this won't happen if you keep holding on to what no longer serves you. Imagine for a moment, each time you choose to let go of fear, each time you decide to take a step even with doubt in your heart, that wall starts to fall. Not all at once, not explosively. But it's a gradual fall, a breaking of what once seemed insurmountable. And as you keep acting, you realize you're not alone in this process. The greater force that has been trying to guide you is becoming more visible, more tangible. You begin to feel a silent, but present, support, as if the path is opening up as you walk. Now, the most important part, this is the moment of choice. You have the power to decide. What happens from here on depends on you. The presence is there, available to help you, but only you can make the decision to cross that wall. It's a daily, continuous choice, where every small step you take opens doors that were once closed. And the question is, will you stay paralyzed, or will you take the first step now, with courage and trust in what's to come? Now, we reach the most crucial point of this moment. The truth is, at this very second, you're faced with a critical decision, and the choice you make will determine what happens from here on out. Deep down, you feel that something more is waiting for you. You feel this force by your side, guiding you, hoping you'll make the right choice. But up until now, everything that has happened has only been preparation for this moment. The decision is yours. You can stay trapped in everything that holds you back, the doubt, the fear, the memories of the past, or you can finally release all of it and allow what is around you to begin to manifest. It's not just about deciding what to do now, but deciding which path you will follow from now on. Will you continue carrying the weight of what holds you back, or will you release these burdens and move on to something greater, lighter, clearer? But don't be fooled, this is not an easy decision. It's not something simple to make. If it were, you would have made this decision a long time ago. But that's exactly why it's so important. Because, by making this decision, you're not just choosing to release the weight you've been carrying, you're choosing to trust the process, to trust in this presence that has been guiding you, even when you didn't know what was happening. You know, many times, true change happens when we choose to act despite the doubt, when we choose to move forward, even without all the answers. And this is the key here, you don't need to have all the answers right now. You don't need to know exactly what's coming next. But you need to trust what's already within you, the invisible forces that are working in your favor. By taking that step, you open a new path, a path of possibilities that only become real when you decide to act. So, what will you do? Will you keep waiting for a clearer sign, or will you trust what you already feel, the force pushing you to take the next step? Will you remain paralyzed, or will you use the courage still pulsing inside you to cross that invisible wall in front of you? The choice is in your hands now, and what you decide will shape everything that comes after. This is the moment to act, to decide to move forward with confidence. Now, take a moment. Breathe deeply. Think about everything you've faced so far, and everything waiting for you on the other side of that wall. This is the moment to take control of your life, to make a choice that will impact your future. What will you decide now? What are you ready to let go of, and what are you ready to receive? We've reached the end of this moment, but in truth, it's only just beginning. What you've just experienced, this decision you've made, is what can transform your life. Every choice we make is an opportunity to reinvent ourselves, to discover something new about who we are and what we are capable of achieving. You are not alone on this path, nor do you need to face everything at once. By deciding to make space for something greater, you are allowing invisible forces, forces of guidance and protection, to work in your favor, guiding you to where you need to go. But remember, it's not an easy journey. It's not something that happens overnight. Transformation takes time. However, the most important thing is that, from now on, you hold the key to unlocking doors that were once closed. What seemed distant or impossible begins to become clearer, more accessible. You only needed one decision, and that decision is the one you made today. With it, the path ahead opens up to new possibilities, and the journey of self-discovery and growth begins to gain momentum. No matter how difficult it has been to get here, no matter how challenging it is to make a decision like this, know that what you've done is connect with something greater than yourself. By making this choice, you're not just releasing emotional weight, but also opening yourself up to a new phase of your life. You allowed yourself to take a step, and that step is all you need to start seeing the changes unfold around you. Now, as this video ends, take with you the certainty that the future you desire is not in some distant, unreachable place. It is within your reach, inside you, in your decisions, in the power you have to create your reality. The answer you were looking for has always been here, waiting for you to be ready to see it. And today, you did just that. The key to transforming your life is not a grand event, not a specific moment. It's a continuous decision, a daily choice to trust, to let go, to move forward. From today on, you can begin to look at the world with new eyes. And when you look at yourself, you'll see that there are no limits to what you can achieve. The future is waiting for you. It begins with you. And now, you are more prepared than ever to move forward. Let go of what no longer serves you, make space for the new, and watch what happens. What you desire most is closer than you think, you just need to take one more step, now, with courage, confidence, and clarity. The future you dream of, the life you desire, is not in a distant place. It is right here, in front of you, waiting only for your decision to walk toward it. Do that now.